Looks like I was speaking on mute. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you are in the globe. Welcome to PSQ Nation. I'm going to be your host for today. I'm Ray. I'm the president of the Philippine Society for Quality. So please feel free to type in your greetings right there in the chat box. Maybe some of your greetings, some of your comments can be shared right here in our platform. And by the way, we are live on three social media accounts of PSQ. We have our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and also in our LinkedIn page. Please feel free to comment down below your greetings at this point, and you can also follow us in those social media accounts. Please also share your views, insights, and questions as we move forward. We have prepared a very interesting topic on data driven innovation in collaboration with the Analytics Association of the Philippines. And just want to give you a quick takeaways, or maybe just to refresh your memories in terms of our learning session or webinar last month. That's the same collaboration with the Analytics Association of the Philippines. So we had three things that we took away last time. The first one is the foundational requirements to effectively implement data driven transformation programs are the same, regardless of the nature and size of an organization. The second one is to have a competitive advantage in an era where the best in the business offers products and services of the highest quality. Advanced data analytics will be required. And the third takeaway during the last webinar that we had, it will start with you. It will start with us having the right mindset, asking the right questions, and searching relentlessly for new and high quality data. Amazing takeaways, definitely. And I'm sure you are so excited for our session for today. This is a follow up session of the our webinar last time. We had a great speaker. We again invited him once again and just want to introduce with you our dear speaker once again because I believe he deserves more than a great introduction. So our speaker is the Chief Analytics Officer of Eclaro, a global business and technology consulting firm delivering top talent to clients across diverse industries. In this role, he is responsible for defining strategies to initiate and expand key digital transformation services, especially in the field of analytics. He has been involved in similar roles at Accenture, IBM, in Teradata. Sherwin is also faculty of the University of Asia and the Pacific's Master in Applied Business Analytics program. He is the founding board member of the Analytics Association of the Philippines, or AAP, in which I'm also part of that organization as a member. AAP was formed to take the lead in driving the growth and evolution of analytics and other analytics enabled fields here in the Philippines. He co chairs AAP's Policy Research and Insights Council, working alongside with various government agencies and nationwide programs relating to, among others, education, labor market intelligence, and policy legislation and standards with the goal of building the analytics ecosystem of the Philippines. Meet our speaker here. Once again, here we have Sherwin Pelayo.
Thank you very much, Doc Ray, for the invitation again. Or I think I did volunteer for this, because our topic last month was very. I think a lot of people got interested, really, and we said, it's not enough that we have just one webinar. We need to follow it up with this, and the questions really were very good. That say, we can't stop there. We can't leave our the PSQ, the AP members, the audience hanging there. I think everyone is really interested about data, being data driven, doing data driven transformation, now data driven innovation. Let's do this, and on a holiday. I think this is a very good time for everyone. There's actually a lot of things that has happened since within AAP since the last webinar. So there's a lot of movement. I'm actually now the executive director of the AAP, no longer part of the board. We have a new set of board members. We actually have a strategic planning session this morning. So we have a new set of officers. So, I think we're going to have lots more information for PSQ and AAP members. So, stay tuned for that. Let me start by sharing my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen now. Okay, so let's start. So, the last time that we're here, we talked about data-driven transformation, and one of the things that we mentioned that is key to do data-driven transformation if we really want an organization to move forward in its analytical maturity is there needs to be a discussion, or there needs to be a conscious effort in the organization to ask the right questions. Okay, we need to go beyond describing what happened in the organization, but we need to look into what could potentially happen in the future. And one of the things that an organization needs to do that is to really identify not just the lag measures, but also the lead measure. So lead and lag information, we need basically those two. So in this particular webinar, what we want to for our audience to know is that wait, lag information is an after the event measurement. It helps us monitor the progress in our organization, and it brings about change. It brings evolutionary change. Lead information, on the other hand, is a before the event measurement that influences what could happen in the future. It does bring change, but it brings revolutionary change. Sakto, February 25 ngayon, di ba? Both are actually important. And you actually need a balance of lead and lag indicators. That's why when you put this both in a dashboard, it becomes a balanced scorecard. So you need both lead and lag indicators for any organization to achieve data-driven innovation. Okay, so where did we leave off? From the last webinar. So Doc Ray already kind of hinted about this, but you kind of need to view that webinar again to make sense of what we're going to discuss. But let me just give you a summary of what happened, what we discussed in January. So we talk about analytics. It drives data-driven transformation. Analytics progresses data along its value chain as it transforms data to information, to insights, to imperatives or actionable insights. This is actually the data life cycle, starting from the birth of data, answering the question, what happened? That's why we do descriptive analytics there. So describing what happened, then going into insights, finding the trends and patterns in data, trying to answer the question, why it happened? That's diagnostic analytics. What could likely happen next? That's predictive analytics. And then transforming insights to actions or imperatives to answer the question, what should be done next? So it's prescriptive analytics, where we're looking for some prescription, something that we can be prescribed to do. Okay, it's a cycle, which means that as you create actions, new sets of data will be created. So the cycle continues. So last month we started with this definition of what analytics is, illustrating what analytics really do. We talked about the seven components, things that an organization must strive to mature in order for the organization to be data driven. And one of those, if you could actually recall our acronym, we call it Delta Plus, DELTA. Okay, so we talked about data, enterprise, leadership, targets, analytics professionals, technology, analytical techniques. The first T is about targets. Okay, so we are saying that you know if an organization really wants to become competitive using data, then they need to move beyond descriptive. They need to move beyond vanity metrics. They are important, but to tell you how you are doing, but it's really just going to tell you, or it's really just going to make you look good to others, but it cannot really help you understand what you need to do in order for you to progress further. So when we talked about targets, we said, you need to ask more insightful questions, such as, what characteristics of my customer should I look into so that they can buy more products to me? What are the factors that affect employee attrition in terms of doing um, product quality checks? Do I really need to do more? Will that assure me that I will not be getting defects anymore towards the end of the product development life cycle? So those are the types of questions that we are telling that we told everyone to ask beyond what we call the vanity metrics. We briefly discussed, as part of the discussion on targets, that we need to look into lead information, lag information. That if we really want to see process performance improvement, that's the vertical axis. You need to have the lead information because it will give us the most jump, the biggest jump in the process performance. Okay, but lag information is equally important because it tells us how we're doing. Okay, we talk. I asked you to think of a plant. Just to give an example of what lag measures are. We said that lag measures again is an after the event. So the height of the plant, the number of green healthy leaves. The plant has grown. The leaves have shown. So you're able now to measure the height. You're able to count the number of green healthy leaves. So that's an after the event. But what are the things that you need to consider for you to ensure that your plant will stay healthy? Okay, this will be the amount of water per day, the amount of sunlight, the soil moisture, the amount of fertilizer. These things are still not happening. You will still be doing them. The other thing about lead measures is that you are not actually sure that they're going to work, but you kind of need to take a risk in all of these lead measures so that you can progress. Okay, because I mean that's another thing. If you don't take risks, then you really won't progress. As an organization, if you just keep on doing the same things over and over again, you're seeing that hey, my plant height continues to grow. The number of green healthy leaves is constant. Yes, then the plant is healthy, but can you make it healthier? Okay, so that's the goal of the lead measures. I think at this point we said we really need more discussion. But actually, then there was this question. I remember this very clearly. That when this was asked, I just told Dr. Yeah, we need to really go into a further discussion on lead and lag, because there was this question on they were saying that yeah, we started building an analytics program. They ended up just creating fancy Power BI visualizations, which is really on the descriptive level. So they were asking how do we jump to the next level, and basically I just told them let's I kind of answered briefly, but then I said, let's just wait for the next to really go into this level of detail. So let's jump to the next level. Okay, so let's really tackle that question that was left off from the last webinar. So this is the data life cycle. I hope that everyone who has joined us since January and those who will be reviewing our recording last January will get to see this, understand, review this data life cycle. So the question that was posted that really led to this webinar is that they actually said that they stopped here, at this box, at this descriptive analytics. I just won't need to correct that because they had the impression that they I think I really listened to the recording so that I can get the question verbatim, right? So they were saying that they just ended up with fancy Power BI visualization. I wouldn't really say just visualization. It's still important. Descriptive analytics is important. Business intelligence is important because again, it tells us what happened, and every now and then we need to know what really happened. So your leaders, your bosses will ask you for status reports. Those are descriptive. That's descriptive analytics. That's important. Okay, we need to know what happened. But in order for you to jump to the next level, essentially you want to move to this level of advanced analytics. What you really need to do is ask the right questions. Okay, so when you want to go from descriptive to diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive, you need to ask the questions, why did those things happen in the first place? And if I don't do anything, what could likely happen next? Those are the kind of questions that we want to ask if you want to jump from descriptive analytics to more advanced analytics. So, in order for us to do that, I'm going to offer you this model, um, coined by John F. Ruckart. The deck is going to be given, I think, distributed by PSQ at the end. There's actually a link to this. Chief executives define their own data needs, and it talks about critical success factors. So, critical success factors are, the number of small things in your organization that if you do satisfactorily, then it will ensure successful competitive performance in the organization. Think of critical success factors are as the things that you need to do correctly, that the things that must go right in your organization so that your organization can meet its goals. Okay, so if the results within these critical success factors are not adequate, then your efforts for that period will be less than desired. So think about this uh, principles or topics of John F. Ruckert is really about the critical success factors, things that must go right in your organization. So there's this thing called the critical success factor, the CSF analysis. So this is the key. So CSF analysis allows us to look into our business objectives, our strategies, our goals, our measures, and it looks that what are the information that I need in order for me to measure the progress of my organization. So starting from the business objectives, you go down to the level of the key information requirements of your organization. What this allows you to do is that you get senior management to be more involved when planning for data-driven transformation, because this is really about information strategy planning, knowing which pieces of data, which pieces of information you need to gather in your organization so that you can measure your progress. Okay, when your when the things that you are doing is aligned with what senior management wants to see in your organization, then you get them more involved. More importantly, apart from involvement, you get their commitment as well to support your initiatives in being more data driven in your information strategy actions. So the important thing here always, and I think I've emphasized this also in the last, is whatever you do, make sure that it ties up with what your leaders, what your senior management goals are for your organization. So this is the Rockart model. Okay, so it's composed of these five components. So it's you start with the objectives of the organization, the strategy of the organization, then you go into the critical success factors, KPIs, the key performance indicators, and the critical information set. Again, this is forming the information strategy. We want this again to be data-driven innovation. That's why you have data at the bottom. But it starts again with objectives. So when you craft objectives, or in order for you to understand what objectives are, you're basically answering the question, where do you want your organization to go, and what are you aiming to do? Okay, so this could be a business target, growth, market position, reputation. Typically, for many organizations, it's about profitability. Actually, it's not even revenue, it's about profitability, and the value that you give to your shareholders, stock prices. Okay, that's your business target, that's your objectives. Okay, a strategy answered the question, what do you need to do? Okay, how are we going to get there? How are you intending to meet your objectives? So it's a method of competing. It's a strategy. Do you want to differentiate yourselves in cost, being more cost effective? Do you want to focus more on your customers? Do you want to focus more on operational efficiency? Remember the market positioning that we also discussed last month. You can be great operationally, you can be product leaders, or you can be more people centered. Okay, those three are some of the example strategies that you can use so that you can meet your objectives. Next, critical success factors. These again are the things that must be done right. Okay, these are the things that need to be done correctly so that you can execute your strategy. Okay, so this is an action item in your work plan. Okay, that would lead to fulfilling your strategy, which will in turn address your objectives. So if you want to succeed, say for example, in um, acquiring your customers, getting your customers to stay in your business, or they're buying new products from you, then you need to look into how you can increase the satisfaction of your customers, know them better. So those are kinds of the things as a very specific action. Okay, so you'll definitely have a work plan, you list of projects, initiatives, but this is down to that element of that project, so that you need to really make sure that it is done correctly. Okay, so that you can achieve, so that it can help with your strategy. Okay, next are key performance indicators. I think especially with members of the PSQ here, you're very familiar with KPIs. I'm hoping that you're all familiar with KPIs. These are basically metrics, performance measure. So how do you know that you've actually executed your strategy correctly? How do you know that you're actually doing things right? Then you need to define KPIs. Okay. Later on, you'll see that KPIs can be categorized into two, which is our main topic today. KPIs can either be lead information, lead measures, or lag information, lag measures. Okay. Lastly, you need data to calculate your KPIs. Okay. So this is what your critical information set are. Okay. So what are the variables that go into measuring my KPIs? Okay. So these are the pieces of data that you need to collect so that you can calculate your KPIs, put them in a dashboard, show that you are doing your CSF correctly, that you're executing your strategy correctly, and that you're achieving your objectives. Okay, so that's the rock art model. You have to start from the very top, the objectives, and then that's when you collect your information. This is that complete picture that what I'm telling you about. Okay, it has to start from the strategic level, uh, in the language that the business owners, the leaders, your senior management would know. Okay, they would have this vision, mission, strategy, objectives for their organization. And every business unit, every functional unit in the organization, whether it's HR, IT, finance, marketing, operations, whatever, whatever department you have in your organization, must align their own objective, strategy, critical success factors, key performance indicators, and critical information set to the overall strategic vision, mission, strategy, and objectives. So the rock art model is actually within the functional units. Okay. So again, it's very, very important that whatever you do in HR, finance, IT, etc., again in your departments, ties ties tightly in the overall strategic objectives of your organization. Key example here. I mean, sometimes it's going to be very difficult for us to see, but in all of the cases that I've worked with, I teach this in the University of Asia and the Pacific on business strategy and analytics. When I see some students struggling, to connect their department's objectives with their company's objectives, we always find a way to connect with them. HR is a classic example. So, say for example, your company's objective is really about profitability. Okay. So, how does, for example, keeping your employees satisfied, keeping your attrition rates low, how can it tie up with profitability? Okay. Typical, HR KPI, retention, or the inverse, attrition. You want high retention of your high performing people. You want low attrition of your high performing people. So you think of all of these engagement activities, and you're feeling that you're actually hitting the bottom line profitability negatively, because HR is kind of a cost center. It's not really earning revenue for the organization. It's more of a cost. So that's why HR, and I think if there are any HR practitioner here, you'll feel that when the budget time comes, you'll have the lowest budget, because you're seen really as a cost center. You eat up cost, and not really helping profitability. So how would you actually say that you are contributing to profitability when you are seen as a cost center? I mean, I think there are studies already showing that, you know, if you do employee engagement activities correctly, you'll be able to retain more of your high performing employees. You will keep your attrition very low, and have been studies that show that keeping employees satisfied, I mean the high performing employees satisfied, is less costly than acquiring new talent and training those talent to fill up empty positions in your organization. That already tells that you're actually saving your organization cost and expenses by making sure that high performing employees are staying instead of leaving your organization. Because if your attrition is higher than your retention rate, then it's going to hit the bottom line more. Engagement activities will definitely hit the bottom line, negatively, because it's still a cost, but it is not going to be as great as when you are going to spend time and effort and money hiring and training new employees. Okay, so that's how you kind of justify why you need more team building activities, engagement activities. But that needs to be part of your critical success factors and key performance indicators. As you'll see later, employee satisfaction is a lag measure. The number of team building activities is a lead information. Okay, there's a level of uncertainty in those lead information. So that's why you're being always asked to create business cases, especially if it's going to be an expense to your organization. More on that later. Point of this diagram is that you need to align the objectives, your rock art model in your department to your strategic level objectives. Let's look at an example. So for an oil company, their objective, for example, to achieve 1% growth in market share this year. So that's their objective. So the strategy, again, these are what will help you get there, to meet your objectives. You can say, I need to improve the performance across all the areas where I drill oil. Okay, at rates in excess of the industry average, or you want to improve the performance in those regions where they are underperforming to match the national average of oil prices. So, how do you do that? So, again, the critical success factors, these are the things that must be done right in order for you to achieve your strategy and then achieve your objective. So you can say, I need to be more competitive in pricing. I need to offer better compensation packages to my site managers. I need more distributed sites. I need to advertise more. And then there are corresponding measures there. So you implement competitive pricing. Your measure then would be what's the company price versus average price. Am I really being competitive without losing revenue? Okay. When you talk about remuneration or compensation, am I paying fair salaries to my site managers? How does it compare with the industry average? So those are, again, for every critical success factor, you can actually have one or more KPIs. The important thing, you need to always have a way to measure your critical success factor. For a telco, for example, this is another example. So for a telco, you want to increase your customer base, and you want more revenue coming per customer, increase it by 10% at the end of the year. So you need to have a retention strategy. Okay, you want to retain the most valuable third of your customer base. You want to also have cross-selling strategy. You want to entice your existing customers to buy more products or additional products in your organization. So things that you need to do right. Again, these are your critical success factors. You need to have an idea when your customers are might be thinking of leaving you and moving to another telco company. So you need to offer the right customers the right package at the right time. Okay, and your way to measure that would be, did they stay? Okay, and how effective was my marketing campaign? In cross-selling strategy, again, you need to know when's the best time to offer additional products, additional services to your customers. How are you going to measure that? The revenue for that particular customer would have increased, so there's increase in sales, and again, marketing campaign effectiveness could be a KPI for that. Okay, so these are just examples, again, on creating your objective strategy, critical success factors, and KPIs. We're not going to discuss anymore the critical information set, because what those essentially are the variables that go into calculating retention rate, effectiveness of marketing campaign. But just go back to that list of questions that need to be answered if you want to really apply the Rackart model and identify objective strategy, critical success factors, and KPIs. Okay, so let's look into now. Let's do a deep dive on KPIs. As I mentioned, KPIs can either be lead information and lag information. So this is where we go really into data-driven innovation. And as I've been saying, this is a balancing act because you need both lead and lag measures. So we've seen this. Let's look at this more closely. So the lag information are, again, measures of what happened in the past. But if you can see the slope of lag, meaning the height that it goes against the process performance, it's shorter than the lead, because it really means that lag information can still bring change, but it's really evolutionary change, meaning small increments over time. Okay, that's what it can bring. If you really want to innovate, if you want more to see if you can grow faster in terms of performance of your organization, then you need to take risks and go for more lead information. Okay, so this will bring you through revolutionary change. You This is where you really do innovation as compared to just supporting, doing the same things over and over again when you do lag information. Okay, so look at this as this stairway chart to innovation. You can just keep on doing lag, but the increment is very small. If you maintain here lag, then and the slope is kind of constant, then it's just going to be what very low in the cross performance chart. But if you really want to innovate, then you need the lead information. It's not always going to be a positive slope. You need to be successful in your initiatives. The risk here as well. Well, actually, there's really no risk as well. No, there is. Okay, if you do not succeed in your lead, then you might have wasted some effort and money in all of those lead projects. But at least your process performance stays where it was when you started your projects in lead measures, right? But again, it's a risk, and if you want to innovate, you need to look into lead information. Here's a table on how different are these things. Lead is something that comes before. Okay, it's a before the event measure. So remember, both of these are still measurable indicators. They are indicators. They are information. They are measures. So they are still numeric. Lead though is more actionable measures. Okay, lag is a measure because it's something that already happened um, after. Okay, in the past. So something that comes after. Lead is predictive in nature. Okay, you really don't know if it's going to bring innovation. Okay, it requires some proactive knowledge. Okay, you might think that there's no place for this in analytics, but you know, lead information starts from a hunch, gut feel, or even intuition. But then the point of analytics is to use data to prove that hunch, that gut feel, and that intuition. Okay, whether or not it is the right hunch or you have the right gut feel. But lead information is predictive. Okay, and that's what we wanted, diba? That's what we want to move from descriptive to this type of predictive analytics. So you need lead information. Lag is an output measurement. It described already something in the past, so it's reactive knowledge. Lead information can improve existing or it can initiate new processes, while lag information is really about maintaining and monitoring that your existing processes are still running as expected. Because of that, lead information brings revolutionary change. It influences the future, while lag information brings evolutionary change. It will tell you how you are progressing. That's why we're calling it talaga vanity metrics. It can make you feel good that you're progressing, but you're not really progressing a lot, as you would want. Uh, Being predictive in nature, lead information is more abstract. Okay, there's really a lot of uncertainty that will this work. But again, we have to take the risk. Lag information is it happened already, so it's just a way to measure what happened. Okay, here's some of the examples. Let's go back to that plant example. Just to drive the point. Lag after the event. So the plant has grown. You can measure the height, and then you can count the number of green healthy leaves. Okay, so those are things that you can use to measure the healthiness of your plant. Okay, but what can you do to ensure that the plant will be healthier? Okay, um, you don't know if they're going to work. but again, you need to take the risk. So the question is, are you happy with the way that your plant is actually growing? If not, if you want it to grow more leaves, you want it to grow faster, or if this is a fruit plant, do you want to get more fruit from your plant? Then you need to take risks and do these things. If you look at these lead measures, these are actionable measures. So how much water should I give my plant? Do I need to bring it out and give it more sunlight? Do I need to give it more soil? Make sure that the soil is more moist, and then what amount of fertilizer or even what type of fertilizer should I give? These are predictive in nature. It these things are have they are not happening yet. They haven't actually happened, but you want to take the risk. Okay, let's do this. Let's try this and see if it's going to bring revolutionary change to my plant. Okay, I think this is the simplest. Hopefully, this is the simplest way for everyone to understand what lag and lead measures are. These are some examples from finance, IT, marketing. Some just example operations that you can use. Okay, my suggestion, this particular topic in my class takes actually one half day to discuss, because we need to really drive the point of the difference between lead and lag. Okay. So my suggestion is, just go through and read this webinar again. There's also the link on where these examples were taken. So, this can stick to your minds, after this webinar. So, lead information again are KPI. So they follow the critical success factors. They're done after the critical success factors. So from a finance perspective, things that you want to do right, improve your ROI, broaden your the portfolio of your products that will increase your revenue. You want to reduce your overall cost. What could help us, ensure that these things will be done correctly. Okay, what are the measures? Look at this lead information. Adding 3 more products to the portfolio this year. That's predictive in nature, because, well, in the first place, where did you come up with 3? Where did that number come from? Okay, you're not sure that by adding 3 more products, you'll really have a return on investment, that you have increased your revenue, and that you have reduced your overall cost. But there you have a hunch, again, it's a hunch, your gut feel that, if we do add this number of products, then maybe I'll be doing my critical success factors correctly. Okay, so that's the type of innovative projects that you can start thinking of. So innovation will come from this lead information. The lag, look at the lag information. Again, these are measures that happened, of things that happened already. There's the return on investment, the revenue growth, the expense cost. You have formulas already specifically for those. You know the formula for those. The lead information, you don't even have a formula yet. And this is where your data scientists can come in, because they will now get all of these things that, what are the things that would really affect my portfolio this year? What features of my products should I really put into product development, so that I will know which combination of these features will help me achieve my critical success factors. Your data scientist will be collecting all of those pieces of data and generate, what we call an analytical model, okay, using historical data to see which product features work best together. That will tell you that if you do this, if you put these features together, then you could really achieve your critical success factors. Okay. Whereas for lag information, there's a fixed formula already for that. That return on investment is equal to revenue minus expenses, etc., etc. Okay. Let's look at customer perspective, usually from a marketer's point of view. Okay. So look at that critical success factor. I want to increase customer satisfaction. Okay. Your lag information is always your customer satisfaction score. Okay, something that um, has a formula already, something that happened in the past. You did something with your customers. You probably sent out a survey, and then they will tell you whether they were satisfied or not. Then that's your customer satisfaction score. It's a measure of what you did for your customers in the past. Okay, but look at lead information. More account management. You're basically saying that um, if I add more people looking after my best customers, will that increase customer satisfaction? You don't know. At this point in time, you don't know. But you want to take that risk. You want to find out if really adding more people supporting your customers will really make them happier. Okay, so you'll now again look into what are these pieces of data or variables or what we call features of account management that you need to look into so that you can look for those features in your account management, in your account managers. Okay, that will help ensure that your customers will really be happier at the end. So you might look at the experience of your customers in that particular product, the amount of the years of experience that they already have, their familiarity with your products, their knowledge about your customers. Okay, those are variables, those are features that about an account management team. Okay, but at this point, you don't know whether or not, what is that right combination that will produce happier customers. That's why you need analytics then. That's where your data scientists come in. Get all of the data, put that in analytical model, see which characteristics of account management will help produce more happy customers. Okay. Let's look at another example. Okay, I'm going to leave the others, just so that you can review for yourself. Okay, let's look at internal process. Okay, this is about operations, mostly in operations. Okay, um, let's see. Reducing operational problems. Let's take a look at that. Okay. Of course, you want less, especially for members of PSQ, where you really look into quality of your product, services, operations. So I think one of your critical success factors would be to reduce operational problems. One of your typical KPIs measures is or lag information is the product service error rate. Okay, so how often do customers encounter an error in my product or service? The error happened already. Okay, so that's why you're able to measure the error rate. So that's your lag information. But then, okay, you still want to reduce your operational problems further. So you're thinking, if I spend more time educating my customers on the best way to really use our product and services, will that reduce operational problems? You don't know. At this point, you don't know. And but you want to take a risk again. You have a hunch that maybe spending time more time with my customers will reduce my operational problems. So you go into now analyzing what are the causes anyway of my operational problems. Is there really something wrong with the product or service? Is it because my customers really need more instruction? Is my product really complex to use? Was it not designed to be more user friendly? So you need to look into that because that will help you determine whether or not you're really going to spend more hours with your customer if that's really the right solution in reducing your operational problem. but you won't be again able to answer that if you don't ask those questions. Okay, so that's why the lead information will really be your way of asking this right questions. This is about learning and development. So for HR, you can look into this. Let's say better strategic communication. Okay. You want to communicate more with your employees. You want to let them know what's happening in your organization. That could, you could measure that by how satisfied are your employees and how you communicate. There are engagement surveys, and usually communication is one of the things that factors in employee satisfaction. So that is an output measure, that employee satisfaction. But is will having more information available to my customers really increase satisfaction, and will it really improve my communication? Maybe. I think you have a good hunch that it's going to work, but at this time you don't know. That's why it's predictive again in nature. That's why it's a lead information. Okay, so again, you're now basically asking the right question so that you can be more data driven when you are looking for lead information. So going back, it's really about asking the right questions. Don't be stuck with descriptive questions. Don't be stuck with vanity metrics. They are important. Vanity metrics are lag measures. They are important because it's going to tell you how you're progressing, but it's just going to tell you how you did. Okay, in order for you to move forward, to really jump to the next level, then you need to ask the insightful questions. Okay, so here's a template that you can follow. So this is how I asked my students. This is the way that you're going to put your objective strategy, CSF, KPIs in a way that it's going to be understandable by your senior management. Use this template. Okay, so your department supports my organization's goal by aiming to this objective. To do this, my department will have to insert your strategy. So the key activities of this strategy include okay, again, critical success factor, what must be done right. Here we need to lead indicator and lead indicator. These are actionable measures, huh? And then our success will be measured by lag indicator and lag indicator. Okay, so that, I mean, if you fill this up correctly, and if it actually makes sense to you, then you've identified correctly your objective strategy, CSF, and KPIs. KPIs, being lead lag indicators. Okay, so that's a kind of a simple template to know whether you have identified correctly your Rackart model. So it is a balancing act. You need both. So a lag indicator without a lead indicator will give you no indication on how you actually achieved what you want to do. Okay, and it's not going to warn you if you're going to miss your hitting your strategic goal, because remember, lead indicator is an action, it's a future action, yet it's still a measure. So you need a lead indicator for your lag indicator to tell you whether you're actually progressing, moving in the right track. A lead indicator needs a lag indicator because again, a lead indicator is an action, so you're doing a lot of things. Okay, um, but if you don't have a lag indicator, then you're really just doing a lot of things, but you're not measuring those things. Okay, you might feel busy, but are you really accomplishing things? Okay, you need a lag indicator to say that you are accomplishing things and you're not just doing things. Okay, um, and who knows, are you really keeping yourself busy, but are are those actions really contributing to your organization's goals? So you need a lag indicator with your lead indicator, and this is why it's called a balanced scorecard, because you need lead and lag you need lag and lead together. Okay. Um, Sorry again. Some just want to promote some of the activities that will help you understand this more. We definitely need continuous learning. So promoting again our business analytics masterclass at the University of Asia and the Pacific. It's going to start in March. The contact information is all about is there flashed on your screen. Again, the material will be handed out to you. I think after you've completed a survey about this webinar. We do help in Eclaro, providing you with talent to basically essentially do this. Our analytics model is essentially also what we've discussed. We start with your strategy in the organization. We do descriptive analytics, business intelligence. That's really the starting point. But then we will help you push forward and jump to the next level, do data science, and then start gathering all of your information. We don't stop there. We help you also operationalize your analytics. Lastly, again, this is an invitation to everyone to be part of the activities that we do in the Analytics Association of the Philippines. We are, just last this month, we with TESDA, we've signed a memorandum of agreement with them, establishing AAP as the National Industry Board for Analytics and AI. So do expect a lot more tech voc courses from coming out from TESDA on analytics and AI. I mean, both TESDA and AAP are very excited to bring these courses to everyone, across the country. So it's kind of a challenging task for everyone. So we invite everyone to watch out for more activities within the AAP. So again, just a summary of what we discussed. Lag is an after the event measurement. You still need that because you want to monitor progress and it brings about evolutionary change. If you do want to innovate in your organization, then you need to look into getting more lead information. Validate your hunches, your gut feel, your intuition, because that's where you really start having revolutionary change in your organization. Both are important. You need lead with your lag, you need lag with your lead. And that's the reason why you have a balanced scorecard. Both are important for your organization to achieve data driven innovation. I know this has been a lot. We just discussed lead and lag in less than an hour. It takes me 3 hours to actually explain this in class. But I do hope I gave you some hopefully good inputs, a good starting point for you to start looking into more of the lead information so that you can jump to the next level. Thank you very much. Magandang hapon sa ating lahat.
Wow, that's amazing, Sherwin. All right, so let me take a look at the chat box at this point. What questions do you have? You may start jotting down your questions or any of your insights or any of your views right here in our chat box.
Kailangan i-absorb.
So while we're still awaiting Sherwin sharing for the others um, to share their questions or their views right here in our chat box. I just want to share that like a few years ago, it's like 8 years or 9 years ago. So I went through like a workshop, the workshop for the 4 disciplines of execution. And in one of the disciplines, it really talks about the lead and lag measures. If I could still remember, when we talk about the lead measures, there are two characteristics that we're looking at. The first one, it has to be predictive, and second one, it has to be influenceable. And thank you really for sharing, that lead and lag measures. And from my perspective, I'm seeing that because most of the time the organizations are just looking at the lag measures. But as we know, we can do nothing about what would happen, right? And there's a lot of things that we can do from the measures perspective. And I believe it's also a shift in terms of the mindset of the organization and the leaders in the organization, shifting from really looking at not really focusing more on the lag measures, but really identifying what are the right leading indicators and leading measures that can get you to the achievement of your lag. So this is an amazing session. Let me take a look at take a couple of comments in here. Sure. Wait. The first one is from Manoj. Manoj, getting structured data is challenge nowadays. Okay, so that's like a comment coming from Manoj.
Mm. One
From
thing about
this,
that, Doc Ray, about struct, I mean, getting data, it is. Um, I mean, not to mention that there are, a lot of data privacy regulations, especially on the type of data that you'd like to get. Just use again for as long as you have a business case to show that you need that, data, that what you want to use the data for is tied up with your organization's strategy. That will help you along, the business case in getting that, data for the project that you want to do. You really just need to explain, why you need, that piece of data, especially if they are, kind of sensitive, personally identifiable information.
thank you. Thank you for that, Sherwin. Okay. Do we have other questions from our participants? It looks like they're saying that it's a very good session. It's a well spent holiday learning something very useful this afternoon. Amazing hearing it from our participants. So let's maybe we can give them like a couple of seconds so that they can share some of their views. And maybe we can queue for a few second worth of commercial from PSQ perspective. We want to share with you the 33rd National Quality Forum. Save the date. It's going to happen on October 10th. All right, so watch out for the update of the National Quality Forum. So looks like our participants don't have any more questions at this point. Sharing. Thank you so much. It's a great session. And with that, we want to share this QR code to everyone. You can start scanning so that you can evaluate how it did for our webinar for today. Once you accomplish this, we will be sending you over your certificate at the same time a copy of the presentation material coming from our speaker, Sherwin. Right, so let me proceed. We want to present the certificate of appreciation definitely to our speaker, Sherwin M. Pelayo, for imparting valuable insights and inspiration to the participants during the webinar Lead and Lag Measures Towards Data-Driven Innovation on February 25 to 2022, signed by yours truly. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Sherwin,
very
for
much,
being
Doc
with us.
Ray. That's my second for
And I look
PSQ, and
forward
it's only
to
February.
more collaborations with you.
Of course, definitely. Looking forward to
Yeah,
that
and
as
let
well.
us know if we can also help on some of the initiatives of AAP with the TESTA and other government agencies.
Of
If you
course.
also have some initiatives, then let us know how we can help, how we can collaborate. I believe there's a lot of things we can accomplish together.
Thank you very much. We'll do that, Doc Ray.
All right. So there's a lot of thank yous that I can see right here in our chat box. Thank you so much once again, Sherwin. And before we end our session for today, I want to share with you who we are very briefly, who PSQ is. So we are a national professional nonprofit organization started in May 17, 1969. Our vision is we will be the leading network that inspires and shapes quality and organizational excellence leaders in our mission, a network of agile, innovative, and trusted partner of choice who creates value and drive advancement in quality and organizational excellence. Over the course of more than 5 decades of our existence, we're able to bring you some of the international known quality gurus in the world. We're able to partner with different organizations locally and internationally, and you can just check our social media accounts, or you can subscribe to the secretariat email for you to get updates when it comes to the trainings that we facilitate. And there's also like a couple of awards, national awards that we offer from PSQ perspective. So stay tuned for the updates. And for the private organizations, you can now apply for the Philippine Quality Award if you're aspiring to get this award for you to be immersed in the framework of the EQA. You can reach us to PSQ. We are the administrator for from private sector perspective. We're a partner of EI competitiveness, competitiveness bureau. So you can also take a look at our membership from PSQ perspective, and we also have for articles for our next release of our magazine. And I believe that's it. Just a couple more. So we're gonna have our general membership meeting by next month, and there will be a giant benchmarking event as well in collaboration with Toyota Motor Philippines. And thank you so much as well for those who were able to apply to be part of the quality champion pool for the Arise Plus Philippines project, which is a very huge project with the International Trade Center that's funded by the European Union in collaboration as well with TI. So I believe that's it. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Sherwin, for spending with us. This is a well spent holiday. Thank you so much,
Thank you
everyone.
very much.
Please take care.